Hi, Concord here. Before we begin, I just wanted to say the following. My room acoustics and equipment will be different to yours, so the sound may differ, and sound is a personal and subjective experience. That out of the way, let us begin. Founded in 1949, McIntosh is known for offering high-quality home audio systems that delivered in music and film. From the vision of Frank McIntosh, he had an aim to build better amplifiers. He wanted to challenge what was believed possible. Together with Gordon Gow, they designed the unity-coupled circuit, and with the assistance of Sidney Corderman, who joined McIntosh in 1951 as Head of Research Engineering and Development, they helped establish McIntosh as a leader in high-quality audio performance. The company moved to Binghamton in 1951 to a second floor of an existing building. As the company grew, McIntosh built their own building and have remained in Binghamton ever since. McIntosh products have been handcrafting their products for decades at their factory by their dedicated employees who share a passion for hi-fi. Since the start, McIntosh have been powering some of the most important moments in music history and pop culture, from President Lyndon Johnson to Woodstock and the famous Grateful Dead, where it's a wall of McIntosh sound. Fast forward to today, McIntosh offer a range of products. The McIntosh design is known for its iconic blue and output meter and its green lit up logo, which is widely globally recognized. Hi, Concord here. Now, as someone who owns McIntosh gear, I was keen to see and listen to the new 2800. And thankfully, I was actually given the chance to give my thoughts on the McIntosh C2800. Now, the 2800 is replacing their previous model, the 2700, which was released in 2019. The McIntosh C2800 is a stereo vacuum tube amplifier that consists of 4 tubes, 3 12AX7s and 1 12AT7 tube. McIntosh has still kept that classic blue and green look, which I like, as the modern amps can still go with the old. Now, out of the box, I noticed the very decent quality binding posts, and McIntosh have also taken care of the real estate on the back, so there's spacing between the interconnects. So if you have very thick, heavy cable, this preamp should cater for that. There's spacing between the binding posts. Now, on that topic of interconnections, the 2800 consists of 2 subwoofer outputs, catering for both balanced and unbalanced, 4 unbalanced and 3 balanced inputs, 2 optical inputs and 2 coax inputs. It also has HDMI ARC, which is audio return channel. So if you have your 2800 connected to your TV, any multi-channel audio format like Dolby or DTS will be downscaled and converted to 2-channel audio. The 2800 also has a LAN connection, a 32-bit DAC, digital to analog converter, and it also has bi-amp function, where the main output is high pass and it also has an output, one is low pass. Now, on that note of the 2800 connections, it also has catered for a processor loop, so you can connect an equalizer. And here's a little info on that.
So why would someone want an equalizer? Well, for several reasons. Possibly because your room acoustics are not ideal. Maybe you're a collector of older recordings that need a little bit of help, especially in the deep bass and the high highs. Well, now we've come out with the MQ112. This is an equalizer as a separate item that can be added to many systems, and it has a lot of uses.
That's pretty awesome. So if you're someone who really likes to fine-tune your music, McIntosh have catered for that on the 2800. The unit does come with an app. I downloaded the iOS version and had no issues getting the 2800 recognized on the app. I also love that it has wake on LAN. So yes, you can turn the unit on via the app. Via the app, you can select the input source, adjust the balance, and also the tone and bass if you want as well. Now, while you have the app, McIntosh are not trying to bring too many unnecessary features, and I like that. What I like about the C2800 is they've kept it a stereo preamp. They're just concentrating on sound quality, and I like that because sometimes less is more. Now, McIntosh have given some schematics on top of the unit so you can see the signal pathways, which I like. It's a nice little feature. Now, on that note, the 2800 uses McIntosh's split chassis or two-layer design, which essentially creates two isolated chassis boxes connected together. The bottom isolated half is for the power supply and digital control circuitry, and the top isolated half is all for the analog inputs, outputs, and phono circuitry. This prevents any kind of crosstalk, leakage, or interference to the analog circuits, which helps to produce a quiet noise floor. The McIntosh 2800 boards, like all McIntosh equipment, their boards are made in-house and they use the SMT boards. Now, SMT stands for Surface Mount Technology, which means it's a combination of through-hole components and also SMT components. Having this allows you to have more real estate attaching components either side of the board. And as mentioned, this is all done at the McIntosh factory. Now, if you need to keep the volume at a minimum, well, the C2800 has a headphone jack and has a high drive headphone amplifier and also has HXD technology, which brings an added dimension to your headphone listening experience. When I turned on the C2800, well, I have a McIntosh amp from 2002, and the C2800 makes that same sound when you turn it on. And you know what? I like that. I like the dials, I like the blue UV meters, and I like that McIntosh gear. Well, the old can still go with the new. Setting up the McIntosh C2800, one thing to note, you can probably use your dedicated music streamer right away without adjustments or entering any details. However, if you're wanting to use your turntable right away, you will need to enter the details of your stylus. Now, making adjustments, well, that's done by lightly pushing in the input dial. You can access the changes to each input, and then to make a change to each input, well, it's via the volume dial. This unit is also Roon Tested. Once I entered all the details to my stylus and any other adjustments that needed to be done, connected my dedicated music streamer and my two turntables, and I was ready to get listening. Now on to the sound. And firstly, I wanted to say this. When you turn this unit on, it will go into warm-up mode, giving the tubes a chance to warm up. Once it glows green, you know it's good to go. Now, this is something I wanted to also let you know. If you're going into a hi-fi store to listen to this amp, be aware the tubes will have had more worn in time. If you get one of these amps and you feel, yeah, the sound's close to what I heard in the store, but it's not quite there, well, give the tubes a little time to be worn in. Now, I had my B&W 800 series speakers hooked up via the McIntosh 312 power amp, and I just love this power amp. It's a beast of a unit and delivers the power effortlessly. There's plenty of headroom, and at no point is this unit struggling to deliver. Now, in terms of the sound to this 2800, I will have to say, and it's my fault, my expectations, I was expecting this really warm, kind of motion of the ocean, soft, laid back, you know, the tubes. Well, I got quite the surprise. So when I started listening, I was like, oh, okay, we're off and racing. It also kind of reminded me of a part in the movie Spinal Tap.
Numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the board. 11, 11,
and most of
11,
the
and then
amps go up to 10.
Exactly.
Louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it? You're on 10 on your guitar. Where can you go from there? Where?
I don't know.
Nowhere, exactly. What we do is if we need that extra push over the cliff, you know what we do?
Put it up to 11.
11, exactly.
So on that note, in terms of the sound, it's a sonic delight. Mixing these kind of dynamics with tubes, by no means is this unit taking a back seat. Even with tubes, I'm quite surprised what McIntosh have achieved. It's a versatile amp, and if you like your rock music, this amp will deliver a real sonic delight. I wanted to see how the vocals would go, so I put on Chris Isaac, and his voice was warm, which the tubes would have helped in assisting that sound. The voice never took a front seat or a back seat. To my ears, placed solely in the middle, and at times, only slightly, at times, the amazing dynamics would just stand out a little bit more. Now, I also put on Daft Punk's Tron. I just love this soundtrack. I think it's such an underrated soundtrack, and it came across atmospheric. The dynamics were there. All that frequency range was handled really well to that awesome score. And like Spinal Tap, why go to 10 when you can go to 11? So for me, the C2800 has that exuberance. It's trying to include everything sonically. With this preamp and the McIntosh MC312 power amp, which I already own, it was an awesome matchup, and I really liked it. So if you're looking at doing an upgrade, go have a look at this amp. Or if you just want to get an amp and be one and done, again, have a look at this amp. And as I said before, McIntosh have kept it simple. It doesn't need to be connected to your fridge or your car or your coffee machine. It's purely there as a high-end audio piece of equipment and giving you high-end sound. And I like that. Less is more. I don't want a whole heap of features and then there's compromise on the sound. I'd rather great sound and less features. So on that note, it really did kind of surprise me. I was sort of, whoa, we're off and racing. Okay. So, and you know what? It was a nice surprise because I went in there with a bit of a preconceived idea, and when I listened to it, I was like, wow, okay, we're off and racing. So anyway, look, that's it from me. Check if your hi-fi retailer is stocking this item. And if you like this video, give it a like. I'd love a subscribe. And I'll see you next time.